Okay, we are live, and I am late. Sorry, y'all. I'm literally in a cabin in the woods, and had a tough time getting in, getting connected, getting Wi-Fi, etc. So it is 6:13 Eastern. I'm 13 minutes behind schedule. I beg everybody's forgiveness, and I promise to do a better job at staying as close to my target go live time as is possible. Welcome. Today's Monday, January 19th. Happy Martin Luther King Day. This is your daily sigh of relief. If you're an entrepreneur trying to keep up with what actually matters, this is for you. I go live every business day at or around 6 p.m. Eastern. And to the best of my ability, I give you everything that I think matters in the entrepreneurial world. If we haven't met, my name is Qasim. I'm a welfare baby turned self-made multimillionaire, and I help entrepreneurs who already have a real business but want smarter ways to grow in a post-AI world. All my content is and always will be free. My goal in life is to help you achieve your definition of freedom. If you want the Daily Sigh delivered to your inbox directly, go to dailysigh.ai. We're getting good at that. Let's dive in. Core story number one, something you have to pay attention to. I don't care who you are in the business world. This is amazing for many reasons that I'm going to do my best to dig into. Google's VO3 is turning video marketing into a commodity. Video, first of all, still to this day and probably forever, until something that I don't understand makes its appearance. Video is the most important and, up until now, has been the most expensive form of marketing. What's interesting about Google VO3 being broadly available is it collapses the cost of production to close to nothing. It's insane how good this product is, what it can produce, and what it's making available to small business owners. It's annihilation in so many ways for certain types of agencies. If you're an agency that relies on media production as the core skill, you're not even put on notice in so many ways. This is kind of it. This is the event horizon. This allows people to produce extraordinarily high quality content in mass. What I really like about it is it's turning the true value proposition is speed. It's who can get to the story the fastest or to the information or the release. But it shifts the advantage to operators who test faster. And it actually takes the advantage away from the big budgets. So if you're a smaller business, and smaller is relative. If you're a smaller business relative to your industry, you could be $100 million business, but if you're fighting $2 trillion brands, then you're a small business. This is, I think, really good news for you. If you haven't played with VO3, make sure to do so. It's powerful, and what I like about it is it's as robust as you are creative. Which is true of all of these AI tools, but video especially has been, really light in terms of its promptability, and VO3 opens it up significantly. And when you combine the entire Google AI Studio, the thing is freaking insane. Google's going to win the AI war, by the way. You heard it here first. Here's the thing that's really interesting about Google. I've studied Google my entire professional life. For those of you that don't know, if you're watching this, I had the #1 ranked Google Ads agency in the world. And the thing that's interesting about Google is they don't mind being last. They don't mind being second. They don't need to be first. They're an organization run by lawyers. To put this in perspective, some of you might remember, if you're old like me, you might remember Zuckerberg being dragged out in front of Congress and the geriatric morons asking him to define things like the internet. When that happened, it happened due to privacy concerns over the targeting profiles that Meta was using. At the time, Meta had 55,000 demographic and psychographic profiling factors on every human in its ecosystem, 55,000. And everybody's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that they can do this. This is so scary. We have to look into it. What's going on? Somebody explain yourself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Google at the same time had 72 million demographic and psychographic profiling factors. The only difference was Meta let everybody know what they had, because you could actually go in, if you remember, you can go to Meta and you can target according to those profiles. And Google kept them behind the scenes. After the legislation and the public relations nightmare and all those things, Google waited to see which way we went from a judicial perspective, which way we went from a narrative perspective, like what society felt about this, and then said, oh, by the way, and rolled theirs out. Look also at just ChatGPT. Look at promptable AI in general. ChatGPT launches the greatest invention in human history, and 2 hours later, Google's like, oh yeah, by the way, we have one too. Now, Google sucked, right? If you remember playing with Google AI back in the day, it was horrible. And there are reasons for that that I can dig into maybe on a different session. Um, Look at Nano Banana. Google waits for two of the biggest IP legislative decisions to drop, and then suddenly says, oh, by the way, we have the best image generation tool from an AI perspective. Like, Google is giving us the leftovers, the leave behinds. What they have for themselves, I'm sure, is extraordinary. But I'm really long on Google. Never, ever, ever take my financial advice. And I think Google's a buy. That's my soft opinion. If you haven't played with the Google AI suite, I realize a lot of people have discounted it because when we played with it in the very, very beginning, ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity just like walked all over it. Go back. Gemini is my favorite deep research tool by far, by far, by far, by far. Nano Banana, I think, is the best image generator. VO3 is the best video generator. Play with Notebook LM. My buddy Mercer just showed me the way he uses Notebook, and it blows my mind how brilliant it is. He takes all of these things that he's learning, plugs them in a notebook to synthesize, and then has Notebook produce a podcast to summarize it for his internal team. It's genius. It's genius. And the Google AI Studio, all said, is actually, it's relatively inexpensive. When you sign up for the Google Suite, it's like $100 per user per month, and you think to yourself, like, gosh, that's a lot more than the 20 I'm paying ChatGPT. But given everything you get, and their usage limitations are friendlier in my experience. The units don't burn through quite as fast. So I think this is a huge story. Play with VO3, play with Google AI Suite. I'm super long on Google. I'm not an affiliate. I should be. Next story, also just as big. Stripe launches Agentic Commerce Suite. What? Stripe now connects AI discovery directly to checkout, allowing agents to recommend and transact without human handoff. Y'all, this is it. AI just went commercial in the literal sense. If you're, I mean, gosh, how do I put this in a box? E-commerce for sure. If you have a marketplace of any kind, if you're on Amazon or Shopify or whatever, this is something you have to be paying attention to. You have to look at the way that this is the inflection point of the purchase opportunity. Stripe integrating with agentic commerce is allowing retailers like yourself to sell things to people via prompt. And what's interesting, and I say worse, but maybe what's better, depending on how you're looking at it, is Stripe is giving AI the ability to make purchase decisions on behalf of humans. The question is, what do we do about chargebacks, refunds, returns, disputes? I would anticipate this actually increasing the amount of chargebacks significantly, and so we'll see whether or not that's the case. But this is massive. It also means that you have to, as a retailer, and I'm saying retailers because you're the most obvious. It's everybody, right? It's anybody who takes money online. So SaaS, info, products, digital products. Nobody's safe. Or depending on how you look at it, everybody has this opportunity available to them. This is going to redefine category kings. Your products have to be visible to AI in order for AI to make the decision that you're the right fit. This goes all the way back, and I'm going to get a little technical here, but it's going to be really important. It goes back to schema. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I own AEO.co. I have more data on AEO than any other human in the world. AEO is it's answer engine optimization. It's the study of why answer engines choose certain results. We have a book on this. It's free. We have a community on this with almost, I think we're closing on 2,000 people. The community is free. Go to aeo.co if you want to learn more. But what we found in doing this study is that AI engines want and need schema markup. And schema is really just it's like the table of contents for your website. And if you're in the e-com space, that's extraordinarily important, we're going to see the rise of new category kings across literally every level of analysis. I'm also really curious as to how Amazon attends to this, because Amazon's ability to get in bed with every AI engine is, they're going to have to pick one. I would assume there's like a strong partnership with OpenAI or a strong partnership with Anthropic. But why would anybody double up? And so I think Amazon's control of the traffic is tenuous in so many ways. OpenAI just became the biggest Amazon competitor, should they so choose, because now that they have, the world repository of e-commerce stores is at their disposal. The only thing Amazon has that they don't have is fulfillment, which isn't small, by the way. That's massive. But I also think that ends up being replicable. in so many ways. Speaking of OpenAI, story number 3 is OpenAI just released open weight AI safety models. This is so interesting to me. OpenAI is letting developers customize the safety and bias controls inside of their defaults, which means you get to decide how safe OpenAI is. Now, the question, of course, is one of the Overton window, which, if you're familiar, is a political theory that really just defines to what extremes are we allowed to go. So, what's the proverbial Overton window that OpenAI is making available to us? How much of the guardrails can we take off? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't think they've really made that readily available, to be honest with you. I think we're going to figure it out. This feels like it's meant and built for enterprise, but what I would anticipate seeing here is I think this is ripe for creative usage. And the thing that's as interesting is AI governance is becoming a product feature. So it's like, oh, you want to be safe? Great. Pay me more money. Or you want to modify the safety settings? Pay me more money. This is a huge opportunity for small entrepreneurs. If you wanted to be in the safety and compliance business, now's the freaking time. There actually, to be honest with you, isn't much work to be done as much as there is education, which is, I like those businesses because there's not a lot of accountability to them. So we'll see what happens there. There's a couple of other interesting stories. We'll call them asides. IBM and E&%. I don't know how to spell this or pronounce it, but IBM and some random ass company that I'd never heard of until this story is from IBM, are automating governance with agentic AI. So the thing that's really interesting here is their compliance is being done using agentic AI and what they're calling policy-aware agents. And this is happening in multiple sectors: finance, healthcare, and telecom, which are all heavily regulated sectors. So we'll see what happens if compliance is being absorbed by machines and it works. A lot of things can move faster, and a lot of people get laid off. Regulated industries are quietly becoming early AI efficiency leaders, which is a very counterintuitive. I didn't see that happening at all, and that's also super interesting. Another aside story: Mark Cuban pivots away from AI hype toward offline experiences. This is huge. And the fact that Mark Cuban is doing it isn't huge. This discussion is one that we should have every single day for the rest of our lives. What can't AI do? Or, said differently, what can AI not do? That's where the opportunity is. And in-person, human, community-driven, belly-to-belly, those things right now at the moment, AI is incapable of. Experiential everything, community-driven everything, I think is a very ripe market and a place to go. If you're noticing, the tectonic shift moving in a direction that's counter to your benefit, this is a good place to get off and play in the experiential space. Brick and mortar just became that much more important. Getting people together just became that much more important. Social experiences, physical, in-person, real deal, human connection is a extraordinary value proposition for so many reasons. A couple of things in the backup story: Bank, California's Transparency and Frontier AI Act, which is a weird ass name. California, thank you very much for coming up with something that's so easy to say, you morons. Pay attention to it if you're in the state of California or you work in the state of California, serve people in the state of California. Meta expanded business AI agents after the Manus acquisition. The Manus acquisition by Meta, by the way, Meta is worth looking at because it really empowers Meta in a way that brings them back into the fold, to be honest with you. McKinsey reports a 20% productivity lift from agentic AI. I'm surprised it's that low. If you're not playing with agentic AI, go look at Claude's Cowork product. Man, that thing is just freaking cool. It's really cool. And interesting, private equity exits rebounded in early 2026. That was surprising to me. I thought that they were going to go put their money on the shelf, but they're not. They're coming back and selling and playing their valuation arbitrage game, which I think is a bullshit game. Bunch of dirty, rotten scoundrels. And it all just is what it is. So That's the story. I did it in 14 minutes and 37 seconds as promised. Follow me here. If I missed something you think I should be covering, feel free to message me. I'll do my best to get at it. I'd love to know how I'm doing and what I can do better. If you want the Daily Sigh delivered directly to your inbox, go to the Daily Sigh. No, go to dailysigh.ai. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Love you.